During the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial, Amber's lawyers showed this video of Johnny losing his temper and smashing kitchen cabinets. But I think Amber's lawyer did not expect that this footage was going to have the opposite effect, as you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. To have a better assessment of this video, I made a composition where we can compare the reactions of both Johnny and Amber while they were showing it at the courtroom. In every body language and behavior analysis, it's important to measure events as they happen. One question that is often overlooked in analysis of spontaneous or candid events is who was behind the camera? Was there any express intention of filming what happened? And the answer in this case is that Amber wanted to film Johnny to have some kind of proof about his behavior. That's why you can see her adjusting the camera a couple times to make sure that Johnny remains inside the frame and he's clearly visible. Also, every time that Johnny gets near the camera, she makes sure to block it from his view using her body or a flask. Now, recording the event has a very clear intention behind, and it's to have proof of a behavior that can benefit you in some way, to defend yourself or to accuse someone later on. Now, let's put aside any opinions we could have about Amber or Johnny at this moment, and let's think about that last statement for a minute. It is no wonder that if you feel threatened at home by your partner, you might think about recording them so you can have proof of their behavior. Now, there's something that you should be aware of. If the person finds out that you're recording, they are going to be really upset, and whatever anger they have at the moment could escalate dramatically. So again, if you feel threatened at home, yes, recording is an option, but you must be extra careful that they do not find out, because that could be very dangerous for you. And that's one of the things that I found particular about this video. Despite Amber's efforts of blocking the camera from Johnny, he ends up finding it rather easily, and he realizes almost instantly that she is recording. Okay, maybe Amber acted by impulse and did not have time to really properly conceal the camera. But then there's something odd with her attitude on the video and her attitude on the courtroom when they were watching it. When Johnny is smashing the cabinets, you can spot that Amber doesn't have any jittery movements and her voice inflections don't change much. For a person that is afraid, she is really calm and collected, even if Johnny was quite unhinged at the moment. She even goes as far as asking him over and over again what happened. She does that a couple times, and there's not much stress on her voice. It sounded a lot like she knew that in some way or another she was safe at that moment. But now watch her face at the courtroom. She's looking like she's scared of watching that video. She even flinches a couple times when Johnny is smashing the cupboard. Now, what's so funny is that she also flinches when there is a glass sound made by herself in the video. That is strange because she must have seen it 100 times, so she's trying really hard to look like that recording upsets and even triggers her. So far you've seen all the moments of the clip when Johnny is smashing things around, but even without sound you might have noticed something really interesting. Whether if he's smashing the cupboards or grabbing one of the glasses and smashing it on the kitchen sink or kicking the kitchen countertop, every action's direction is away from Amber. Even when he tells her that nothing happened to her that morning and points his finger at her, his whole body is pointing away. And this is something every person needs to be able to read when someone is angry. What is the general direction of their anger? There's another blink and you'll miss it detail that happens when he pours wine into the glass. Right before discovering the camera, he switches the glass from his left hand to his right. It's important to remember that Johnny is right-handed, so by doing that, he was effectively neutralizing the hand he was using to break stuff. That's why the kicks to the kitchen were with his right foot. Again, there's not one single clue to confirm that someone is not going to harm you, but once you stack enough signals, you can have a better assessment of the situation. Both the direction of Johnny's anger and the fact that he was disabling his dominant hand to drink wine were signals that he was not that much of a threat to Amber at that moment. And that must be the reason she was calm and even provoking him. Now, the next detail might sound like a small one, but here's a simple question. If he was so mad at the moment, why didn't he smash the camera against the floor or against the wall? I'm not completely sure, but by the quick movements that Amber did to adjust the camera, it looks like it was not a mobile phone, but a digital camera. Do you know what happens when you try to film with a mobile phone over most surfaces? It always keeps sliding and you need to make sure it is steady and pointed in the right direction. The other detail that tells me that this is a digital camera and not a mobile phone is the reflection of the glass of the door. You can see Amber's hand reaching out from top and adjusting the angle in under a second. Try to do that with your phone in your kitchen with all those smooth surfaces. I'm sure you will have to be very careful that it doesn't slide or fall forwards or backwards. But again, why is this important? Because maybe Johnny would not break Amber's phone if she was filming with one. But maybe if he was in this real burst of anger, he would not have any problem to smash the digital camera to the ground and even stomp on it. Throwing it into the trash, which is what finally happened, sounds like a rather non-violent way of getting rid of it. Now, it's not hard to tell that Johnny's slur speech and, of course, erratic behavior suggest that he was intoxicated at that moment. And none of those behaviors, either the intoxication or the breaking of stuff, is something to be proud of. But in his courtroom's reaction, he is really calm watching the footage, as if this is not something that could harm him. He even displays a smirk when he says in the video, "You want crazy? I give you F crazy." He's not worried at all, and in fact his lawyers might have told him that this video was actually going to help his cause. Especially when Amber retrieves the camera from the trash, she doesn't turn it off, and you can hear her giggling, if not laughing. That is even more inconsistent with someone that is afraid of being hurt and was discovered recording the situation. As I told you before, this can lead to a very ugly escalation, but Amber doesn't seem to be afraid about this. Strange, right? But then there's something that has to be said about how a narcissist will try to trigger a reaction in you so you are perceived like crazy, and they will make sure to record it so they can play it to you later or even play it to other people to embarrass you. I remember the case of a woman who had a narcissistic mother, and as a teen, she always tried her best to not lose her temper when her mother tried to provoke her with constant gaslighting. Until one day when the girl could not stand the bullying anymore and had a full-on meltdown. She began screaming at her mother and telling her all sorts of things. Now, make a guess about what was her mother doing. She was recording her on her face, not even trying to hide the camera, and laughing at the same time. The mother then used that recording for many years to tell everyone that her daughter was, well, the unhinged crazy one in the family. So yes, victims that want to have proof of what their abusers are doing to them could use recordings to have a proof of what they are going through. But these toxic personalities, on the other hand, will do exactly the same, but to use the recording as another gaslighting tool in their arsenal. It's the same tool used with vastly different intentions. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a massive amount of content to watch, and I already started this series of episodes about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial with my first impressions that you can watch here. So if you see any other clips or details that are worth analyzing, you can tag me on TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram. I will make sure to check them out. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.